Hi, I'm late night production assistant Barbara Sheehan, and welcome to Barbara Sheehan's Fight Corner. My guest tonight is former heavyweight champion George Foreman. Let's get right to the point, George. Is Tyson ducking you?
Absolutely, Barbara.
Thank you. That concludes tonight's visit to Barbara Sheehan's Fight Corner. Stay tuned for Late Night with Letterman.
By the way, that's a lovely jacket, Barbara. Anne Klein?
Yeah, 30% off at Macy's.
Well, they have some cute stuff there, huh?
Tell me about it.
Excuse me. Are you guys about finished?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. Hal, go ahead and roll the regular opening. Thanks. Yeah, you got a hit on your hands here. Thank you very much for being here, by the way. You look great. You do. You look much younger than, what did you say? You were 39, 40 years old in that area?
Yeah, once you get to be 39, you shouldn't say any more.
I know. What does that mean?
That Jack Benny syndrome.
Oh, I see. So you're permanently going to be at 39. But you look good. You look great. You
only saying that because it's true.
Don't make me take you out of here, all right? Because, how much did you weigh? Because when you retired, you kind of ballooned. There were stories of you being... No, but I mean... Yeah. But, you like, were heavier than you are now, right?
I'm not really smiling. My teeth are fixed like that.
I see. But, I mean, you were a heavier person than you are now, right?
Well, actually, my ambition, I left Houston, Texas in 1965 to get some money so I could eat. I grew up so poor that you couldn't put two O's in it. It was just po. When I said one day I'll come back and I'll have enough money, I'm going to eat all I wanted.
Yeah.
So
when you retired, you did that?
Yeah, I came back with a lot of money, and did I eat?
Yeah.
They invented all these fast food chains.
Right.
And I would just go down the street and disguise myself, one card, one Big Mac, next car, Burger King, and boy, I had a ball. Next thing I knew, I couldn't fit any clothes.
And I'll ask you one more time if you can give us a figure, or do you not want to give us a figure? What you finally topped out at?
Well, you have a good memory. You're not going to let me slide.
It was like 3 minutes ago.
No. It's longer than Mike Tyson's fight.
Yeah, that's true.
I weighed in, I think, about 315 pounds.
315. All right. Now, when you were heavyweight champion of the world, what did you weigh?
About 220.
And what are you fighting at now?
It doesn't matter now. I don't even know. It depends on if I have breakfast or not.
When you're in the ring now fighting, do you feel like a different fighter, or do you feel like the same fighter? Do you feel better, not as good? How do you feel when you're fighting now?
I feel a lot better now. It's a lot easier to me than it was when I was young.
Now, why would it be easier? Because everybody would...
I was scared. I was only fighting. You hear, hey, you get to be a boxer, man. You can get a fine car and a nice home and a swimming pool.
Right.
So you find out that I got the big houses I moved into. I was kind of superstitious, scared of ghosts, so I don't want another big house.
Right. You don't need that.
And I couldn't swim that well. Insurance got to be too high on the car, so now I just relax and have a good time in the ring.
So the pressure in that regard is off. Yeah. You were. Let's take a look at this here. You were last heavyweight champion in 1973.
1974.
Yeah, 1974. And how long were you the champ? Was it just
Not very long, about 2 years almost. I lost the title, won it from Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier in Jamaica, is that right?
And then lost it to Muhammad Ali in
Zaire.
Africa.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about that part of it.
Well, we're not going to dwell on that. No, I got enough sense not to dwell on that part. We talked to Joe Frazier last week, and he was, I don't know if he was being serious or not, but he was talking like he might be interested in a fight with Tyson.
Boy, that'd be something, huh?
Yeah.
I'd pay to see it, really.
Yeah. But Joe seemed like a really nice guy.
He's the greatest.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of ongoing relationship with the man at all?
Pretty good friends. And I fought as my previous career. I'd scare everybody in the world, but when I was getting ready to fight Joe Frazier, he was the only guy that I was afraid of.
He was very famous for he stared at his opponents.
It was
right?
my thing of staring them down. I remember looking in guys' face, and if they would drop their face for a moment, I knew I had this edge. I could knock them out. But I remember when it was time to fight Smoking Joe Frazier, I knew if you hit him, he liked it.
Yeah.
If you missed him, he would only just, he'd get upset.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I've got to stare him down because people would think it odd or not.
Yeah.
I was hoping I would win that staring match. If he looked down, he would see my knees. I couldn't keep them from shaking.
Yeah. He was tough. He was tough.
He was tough.
In his prime, he was as good as they ever got, wasn't he?
That's right.
And the same is true for you.
Well.
Yeah. So why now, because you were still living in Houston, you have a club for young fighters, a gym down there. You're involved in, I guess you have a church? Yeah. So you have an active, full life. Why do you need the aggravation of training and getting into some kind of shape to wage a comeback to become world heavyweight champion again? I mean, you've already been there once.
Well, after listening to you, I think I need an analyst now, too.
I didn't mean to be discouraging. What is the
But actually, I'm
motivation
having a lot of fun. You say to yourself, one day I'm going to make $1 million and I'm going to rest. I'm going to do everything I want to do.
But you've done all of that.
And all of a sudden, after 1 or 2 years, you buy a boat, you fish, you fish, you fish.
Right.
And then you say, man, I better do something with my life. So you try on the boxing gloves again, and then all of a sudden you realize the trunks don't fit. You let them out, and you have a lot of fun.
Yeah. You've described there what is a significant problem for a lot of professional athletes. In many cases, sometimes before they are too far beyond the mid-30s, it's over for them.
Yeah. You can set your goals and reach them too quick in life.
Yeah.
To retire, I was only about 27, 28 years old. And
Are you really going to fight Tyson?
No doubt. I'm going to whip his head till it rope like okra.
But you know, a lot of guys have said things like that. And it hasn't happened yet. And I think in your prime, in your first prime, because you're right, this could be your second prime. It would have been probably, I think you can beat him, is what I'm trying to say. But you know what I'm saying? People are saying he's tough, he's dangerous, and he still hasn't peaked yet. He's not as good as he could be.
You got to understand, I had some mature people who were very sharp. 1965, when I went off to the Job Corps, they told me, George.
How old were you then? You were
about 16. And they got me to the side and they said, son, never believe that people are going to land on the moon and orbit the earth. Never believe it.
Don't believe it.
The best advice they were giving me. Now I go back home and they're talking about space programs as if they never told me this, gave me this good advice.
Right.
So Mike Tyson is just some skeleton in the closet that needs to come out. Boo! He's not something.
What are you doing there? Oh, don't be doing that boo stuff.
But really, he's not so tough. He's just... He's got that reputation. You know, once you get a reputation...
But, you know, the last fight lasted 93 seconds. I guess the Spinks fight lasted was even shorter than that one. And the people are now saying, geez, you know, we're not really interested in seeing Tyson fight these guys anymore, but I have a feeling people would be interested in seeing you fight him.
That's right. I tell people all the time, at my age, I'm 40 years, okay? If Mike Tyson get in the ring and he win, what is another sports car, whatever you buy, a swimming pool. But if I get in that ring and whip him, can you imagine all the gray beards who are going to stand up and say, whip it, tie-yo? I got that energy behind me. Plus, I can hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I would think so. Are you worried about maybe at this stage of your life with a family and all of these other responsibilities now? Are you worried maybe about getting hurt in this fight?
Not at all. One of my daughters, she used to hear about my evangelistic stories about how I traveled around the world and lived high on the hog and sowed my oats, so to speak. One of my children got me off to the side and said, Daddy, 16-year-old, I want to know, is Mike Tyson your son? I had to convince her with the geography part, you know. Hey, no way.
Be impossible.
Yeah. She had heard that he was kind of, you know, didn't know, the orphan type.
All right.
So the only fear is that I might be whipping my son.
When might this happen, if it happens?
Well, I'm hoping that it'll get signed before the year's over. Don King just had Al Braverman just call me his man.
So really, they're talking about this now.
So it may happen pretty quick. We can make a lot of money.
A pleasure to meet you, George. Good luck to you, and come back and see us.
George Foreman, we'll be right back.